Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Hart, and it's very possible that some of you may be wondering, well, why are we writing a paper about a learning theorist like Carl Rogers, for instance, or David Kolb? I mean, what's the practical value of theory when it comes to, business training and development? Well, I'm a firm believer in what Kurt Levine, a very famous social psychologist who came to the United States in the 1930s and was very influential in starting theory about organizational development and training and development. He once said, "There's nothing more practical than a good theory." And I'm a firm believer in that. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, we want to have our training be effective. And learning theories will help us do that. I mean, let's be honest. Our own opinions about what's effective for learning or what's effective for training or what actually changes performance in workers, our own opinions are limited by our own personal experience. What might work for us might not work for other people, and what we prefer might not be preferred by other people. So we have to take a big picture view of all of this and say, now, of the potentially hundreds or thousands of people who are going to be taking our training classes, what does research say about how these people learn? What's the most effective way to do that? And theory is then based on what this research says. In terms of effectiveness, it's really important to know what theory is. Also, in terms of efficiency, once again, if we're going to be creating training programs, particularly for scores of people or hundreds of people or possibly thousands of people, we have to create this training so that we get the most out of our development time. Okay? We don't have a lot of time to search all over the internet or all through books and magazines and articles and talk to perhaps many people or experts about what it is that is going to help make people learn in a training session. We have very limited amount of time. Well, theory helps us to be efficient in our decision making because these theories, particularly the really strong theories like Kolb's, for instance, or Rogers or Magers or some of the others, those are all the result of scores of years of research and practice and writing and the experience of many, many, many people. So we can draw on that. We can benefit from all of that. And we don't have to go through all of that ourselves. We can draw on the research and the experience of the theorists. And if they say, hey, like Kolb says, learning is a four-stage process. Experience, reflection, planning for the new experience, and then actually carrying out the experience, and then starting the process all over again. We don't have to reinvent that. We don't have to reinvent the wheel to do that. So the theories that I chose for this class for you to focus on are very common theories in our training and performance improvement field. They are specifically focused on learning, okay, because that's the primary focus of our course, this particular course. Now, in the design course, you would probably need to look at, and hopefully you have, looked at many theories that apply to other areas of performance improvement, not just learning, but also motivation, compensation, recognition, process improvement, hiring configurations, profiles of really effective and successful employees, and so forth. So As I said at the beginning of this little talk, I know that some of you may be wondering, well, why are we spending all this time on theory? I'm a practitioner. I work in the field. I'm not really concerned about theory. Theory is pie in the sky. Well, actually, a really good theory has a lot of very practical uses and very practical value. So that's the reason that we're working on these learning theorist papers now. So I hope that that might have answered some of your questions or concerns about why we're doing that activity. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye now.